Okay, so I'm making this video to show folks how to add a class path in Dr. Java. There were enough people who were not in class that day, and I've also had people send me emails that they got confused. So hopefully this video will be able to help you figure it out. So what I ask you to do is download all of the pre-compiled classes that were in that folder in the course resources section. So these are all of those classes. In class, I suggested putting them on the H drive, the remote drive on the Hudson Valley portal that you can access any place you log in. And so you have access to the classes. Now, what some people discovered, and what I have discovered also on this particular laptop computer that I'm using, is that even though you can access the remote H drive through your web browser, Dr. Java and other file management systems cannot recognize that H drive. It only exists on the browser, it does not exist locally. So you wouldn't be able to set a class path for those in Dr. Java because it needs to be a directory that Dr. Java can access on your computer. So you have a couple of alternatives. You can either copy all of these files to a local directory so that you have those classes, or since you downloaded them from Blackboard in the first place, they're in your download folder. So you could set your download folder to be the class path so long as you left them there. If you didn't move them to here but copied them, they'd still be there. In my case, they are still in my download folder. So that's where I'm going to use an example for creating the class path. So to do that, you go into Dr. Java. To access the screen that allows you to create a class path, you go select the Edit menu option, and then go all the way down on the pop-up menu and select Preferences. That will open the Preferences window. If you have never opened the Preferences window before, it will open with this tab, the Resource Locations tab. If you've selected something along here previously, it will open with that tab. The last tab that you accessed, it will open. If you've got something other than Resource Locations, just click on Resource Locations here to the left, and this will pop up. So to add a class path, you do it here in this section. Now I already have the downloads in my class paths, so I'll remove it for the sake of this exercise. Now probably you will have no class path currently in your Dr. Java if you just recently downloaded it. I've been working in Dr. Java for years, so I've got a couple of directories here that contain these items. To create a class path, now remember what a class path is. It tells the compiler and the interactions pane. Both of them use the same philosophy to find classes that you're referring to in code. It tells Dr. Java where to find the class definition file for the classes that you are using. The class definition file is the compiled Java class, the file type being .class, where those are located. And what it'll do is when you specify a class, say simple turtle, if you're creating an object of type simple turtle, it will look for a file name of the same name of the class, simple turtle.class. It needs to find that in a class path. So if you've downloaded all of those pre-compiled classes to a particular directory, we can add one directory to the class path. If you spread them out, you got to make sure you put all those directories as separate class paths in there. Now, when you click on the Add button, which is what I did, you'll get a file manager window to pop up. I want to go to my downloads file. That is in my user folder. And then it's alphabetized, so I find downloads. There it is. Okay, and I could check to see, well, does this have the class paths? Now, I won't actually see it. I have to change files of type, because it's just looking for things that Classpath considers, which are directories. Zip files are considered in Windows and Mac OS and Linux to be directories. But they're all located here in downloads. So I'll just select that. That will now put that directory here under the list of class paths. Now, it was the most recently one added, so it will show up on the bottom. But at this point in our programming, we're going to be using the turtles for the next couple of weeks. That means we want the compiler to quickly find the classes that are used by the turtle, simple turtle, and world classes that you'll be working in. See, they are using objects of those types. That's where we need to be able to have the compiler find them, or else they won't compile properly. So we want it to be the first directory that it looks for classes in. So we just want to move it up because it will look in the directories in the order that they appear in the class paths section here. So we click on the Move Up button and notice the Downloads folder moves up one position. Click it again. It's now on the top. So it will be the first directory that the compiler looks in to find the class definition files. To save this so that the next time you open Dr. Java, it will come up with those class paths, click Apply. That saves the changes. And then click OK, and that removes the Preferences window, and now you're able to work in here and do any of the work that you need to that will use those classes.